I'll tell you sometimes, and you being real rough on that person. Then you'll say well, you're too lenient on that person, and
Yeah.
then our brother might be like, y'all are both too lenient. You need to cut everybody off, and we'll be like, well, maybe you being a little too hard on somebody.
My favorite phrase, childhood trauma, that makes you hyper aware of the emotions of others. A lot of people think they're empaths. They're not. You're just hyper aware of the other people's emotions because you've always had to be. Even if I'm not an Indigenous American, I am still offended by what I'm seeing. I don't need to be a part of it to be offended or to be hurt or to be traumatized by what I'm seeing.
When
Mhm.
somebody's telling you a story and you tell a story as well to relate,
Mhm.
but that could come off as trying to make it about you, but it's a
Mhm.
twofold. Like you're not trying to make it. Sometimes people do make it about themselves. Sometimes you're
Right.
just like, yeah, I've been through the same thing. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like you just need to just listen, but you
Yeah.
don't want a person to feel alone. Like that's a trick. That's a tricky situation
Yeah,
to
I'll
be
tell you
involved in.
how I deal with it. Like it's case by case, right? Like you handle everything case by case, whatever the situation calls for, and you also think about your relationship with that person. But I listen to the person and I'm like, okay, is it right for me to insert myself here or should I just validate them? Like sometimes the validation doesn't have to come with my own story.
Hmm.
It could also just be, yeah, I hear you. You're absolutely right. That shouldn't have happened.
That's a
Like,
tough.
and let that be it and let them be centered in the conversation that they're trying to have with you about you. I mean about them. You know what I mean? So like
But you do
and then
realize, Jay, like you in particular are way more emotionally mature when dealing with other people. You still got your own fucking issues with
mhm.
yourself. But when
Yeah.
dealing with other, well, dealing with other people all the time.
It's managed with my cuckoo meds.
No, but I mean, like, I look at the three of us and how we
Mhm.
deal with other people are completely fucking different.
Yeah.
Like, it's three different ways of how we deal with other people.
Mhm.
I'll tell you sometimes, and you being real rough on that person. Then you'll say well, you're too lenient on that person, and
Yeah.
then our brother might be like, y'all are both too lenient. You need to cut everybody off, and we'll be like, well, maybe you being a little too hard on somebody. It is so crazy how the three of us
Yeah.
all, and neither one of us really listen to each other.
I listen to y'all. Uh I I internalize everything that y'all say? No. I pick and choose.
All right,
Like I
fair,
pick and choose,
fair.
but I definitely listen to you all. But like it's I think about it, some people like I know if I talk to you, you'll respond to me giving a similar story about my experience. Like that would validate you.
Mhm.
Some other people that won't validate them. They just want to vent. They just want to vent and have somebody hear it. It doesn't have to be, you know what? Something like that happened to me. Okay, but nobody, let's circle back.
That was a
you know,
lesson I had to
yeah.
learn in the many dating relationships I've ever been in. Like I had
Mm-hmm.
to learn early because I'm Mr. Fix It.
Yeah.
And I know how to fix. For some strange reason, people could come to me with a scenario, and I'm like, "This is how it's going to go. These are how
Mm-hmm.
going to be the responses. You should do this." I'm
Mm-hmm.
always right. I remember my ex-wife. She would come home and vent about stuff, and I learned to just be like, just sit there and listen. And
Mm-hmm.
then every now and then, she would look at me as I was listening, get frustrated, and be like, "Just go ahead and give me the answer. I know you know what the right answer is. You're always right." I was like, "No, I'm just sitting here listening." She was like, "No, you're always fucking right. Just tell me what it is." I was like, are you being condescending right now?" She's like, "No, you're always right. And I know you want to tell me what to do." I was like, "I don't want to tell you what to do at all. I'm just listening and being supportive.
Mm-hmm.
What is your suggestion, Bruce? Since you're asking, this is, and this is going to happen. And if you do this, this is going to happen."
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, she would come back. "You were right again." I was like, "Okay, I don't understand how you couldn't see it, but emotions are evolved, right? Like when emotions are evolved, people can't predict the
Yeah.
outcomes because I can't
Yeah.
predict my outcomes all the time. All the time when my emotions are evolved, actually I can. I just ignore
Yeah. That's also a
them.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's um my favorite. My favorite phrase, childhood trauma, that makes you hyper aware of the emotions of others. A lot of people think they're empaths. They're not. You're just hyper aware of the other people's emotions because you've always had to be,
I like
right?
being an empath better than being a trauma victim. That just sounds better. I never called myself that, but I love it when people are like, "You're just an empath." I'm like, I'll take that over trauma victim.
No, that's not what that is. It
Shit.
is it is a response to it's a way you protected yourselves by always being aware of the feelings, emotions, and emotional state of other people. And that's how you make sure to protect yourself by always being aware of when you should be around and when you shouldn't.
Mm.
Right?
But that doesn't automatically mean that you are able to predict how people are going to
Yeah,
respond.
because here's another thing about you and your meticulousness. You look at every case scenario. All of them are flowing through. When Doctor Strange was looking ahead to see if they were going to win the fight against Thanos. That's you. You are looking into the future and looking at all possible scenarios. And you're like, here's the most likely one. Because that's how the human brain works. Like, that's how we designed AI, right? Is
Mm,
to mimic the human brain by thinking of what's the best or the most likely possible next step or next answer or next word or next sentence. That's how the human brain works.
mm.
What is the most likely outcome? Well, having heard about your issues at work or with your friend or whatever for some time now, I got a good grasp of what was possibly or probably going to happen. And here's how it's going to play out. Like, that's just being aware of as a neutral third party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not in that specific bubble of like whatever turmoil that person's having.
Right.
You're a neutral third party just observing it. So after hearing about it for a while, getting to know the temperaments of the people involved, this is likely what's going to happen based on my experience of being hyper aware of people's emotional states.
I'd rather be an empath. Can I just call myself an
Sure.
empath? Yeah,
Sure.
no. I just
Yeah.
want to say that I got a sixth sense. I got a third eye, and it's not because of fucking trauma. And the crazy thing about it is, trauma, I guess, is all different. Like when you say
Mhm.
trauma, when you say the word trauma,
Mhm.
and you say the word childhood trauma, I know certain generations don't get it. The younger generations get it.
Yeah.
But certain generations would be like, what was your trauma? Like, were you kidnapped and molested as a kid, or were you abducted and raised in a farm and under a barn? Like, those are
Mhm.
trauma.
Yeah.
No, I just had young ass parents that didn't know how to be parents. Well, that's not trauma. Okay, I didn't, parse like that word trauma
Mhm.
to me is such a triggering word because when you say trauma in and of itself, I don't know what the exact definition is, but trauma is very heavy.
Yeah.
It's a
The
very heavy,
word the word feels heavy, right?
heavy.
So the definition, I'm looking it up here. The definition is going to be different in psychology. Like the DSM-5, I think it has like a different definition, but it's basically a deeply distressing or disturbing experience that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope, leading to long lasting negative effects on their emotional, psychological, and sometimes physical well being. And so the thing of it is it's subjective, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's subjective based on just the person, based on their environment, based on their culture.
Mm.
Like a lot of us, being black, we get whoopings, right? Like that's a lot of us don't get PTSD because we had whoopings. We actually talk about the stories about them, and they're just we like, remember that time you got your butt whooped because you missed the bus, like that's
That's a
like
that's a true that's a true story, ladies.
okay, like so and there's different ways that it can be experienced. It could be direct harm. It could be you witnessing harm. It could be like adverse circumstances, like experiencing homelessness or financial distress. It could be loss. It could be threat. Like it could be a lot of different things, and it just depends on the person.
I want
But the
you I
fact
want
that
you to keep that thought. Write down
Mhm.
a note right now because I want to detour, but I want to come back to this point
Okay.
because I think something is very interesting that popped up and it goes into this in a larger context. So
Mm.
I was watching Van Lathan, a clip on Van Lathan's podcast. Van Lathan, brilliant brother, used to be on TMZ, has his own podcast, has very interesting conversations. And there was a woman that attacked the show Martin and said that the attacks that Martin had on Pam
Mhm.
were extremely problematic
Yes.
and that he didn't like black women. And the actress Tashina Arnold said, not but not in response to this particular, but this has been a conversation before in the past. She said that the writers saw how her and Martin off screen was going back and forth and
Mhm.
included that in the script because the original casting of the character, the original write-up description for the character was supposed to be for a heavy set woman. Tashina Arnold came in an audition and killed it, and they cast her instead. So
Mhm.
it was always supposed to be a back and forth, but not quite like that. They also took the chemistry off screen and put it
Mhm.
on screen because she could give it as well as she could take it.
Yeah.
And there was some balance back and forth. And when you watch the show, there is balance. And so
Yeah.
Van Lathan was making that point. His co-star, which is a female, saying, yeah, I hear what you're saying. And that, yes, black people do play the dozens like that. But also, we were doing it because that was kind of a thing. That doesn't mean that that wasn't hurtful, that we were just avoiding the hurt because that's how we responded, and that it was playing on stereotypical black themes that
Mhm.
could have that were harmful to the community, that we just didn't have those type of conversations because of the time period. And
Yeah.
that, yeah, we may participate in it, and Tashina Arnold might not have seen a problem in it. However, there could still be a problem in it just because the person that's it being directed to doesn't see that as a problem. And I was
Right.
like, wow, that is very deep. So there's trauma that's associated in that
Mhm.
we're not even recognizing in the moment. And we're
Right.
laughing it off. It's like, nah, this is just what we're doing. But nah, the dozens is hurtful because they're jokes on you. And sometimes that shit hit personal. And you
Mhm.
like, well, that's how things turn into the dozens and into a fight.
Yeah, but not just like I was saying, not just for the two people involved, but also for the people witnessing it. And yeah, a
Mhm.
good example is the commanders, right? Like
Mm.
they would always trot out somebody that will see they would say, see, indigenous Americans don't have a problem with the old name, so we shouldn't change it. That's not enough that
Right.
you found one or two people. Enough of us are saying that we're uncomfortable with it and that we don't like it and we don't want to support it, that should be enough, because even if I'm not an indigenous American, I am still offended by what I'm seeing. I don't need to be a part of it to be offended or to be hurt or to be traumatized by what I'm seeing. If I see somebody get shot in front of me, I'm not a part of that, but I'm still traumatized by what I
Mhm.
just saw,
Mhm.
right? So but some people aren't, right? Some people aren't. They're used to living in losing friends, and maybe their trauma manifests differently, or you don't know. Like, and it's hard because when people, you're right, the word trauma is a very heavy
Mhm.
word to carry around, because we automatically think about the worst ways in which people can be traumatized, right? And that's not always the case. It's person to person, because what affects me might not affect you. And that's another reason why they say, people grow up in different households, right? And you have different parents, even though it's the same two people in the same house.
Mhm.
The way we receive information, the way we perceive our surroundings is different.
Yeah.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.